All right, here's one more tip I'm going to show you. Here's how to find your pivots, your supports, and your resistance. So if I'm not in a coin at any time, what I'll often do is when I go to bed at night, I will make sure I place a limit on for a buy at the third support. That way, if it goes to the first support and I miss it, it's going to go back there. If it goes to the third support and I miss it, I might not get that again. So I want to make absolutely sure that I'm in there at the lowest possible place. Like I said, if I miss it, it's going to drop back. It's not going to take off and run away. If anything has taught me about, if anything I've learned about crypto over the last few months is it's never going to run away. So I go to the site barchart.com. Again, let's just do Bitcoin. Type the symbol BTC. You can do it in relation to any currency. Always do USD. Tether is a little slightly different, but the points are pretty close. So you have, this thing is an ad con, but they got to make money somehow. It's actually a pretty good deal. You get 50 when you deposit 500, you get $50. It's a pretty good deal on them. Maybe I need to use that to make some money. Nah, that's not. So on this, you will find your retail, your RSI will be 78,425. That is for your year. That is for the last 26 times. 52 weeks, it will be 78,425. If it runs to 78,425, it's about to have a point. 70% is at 60,000. That's really close to. So here's what I look at. First and foremost, these pivot points are very far apart. If you have a very volatile day where Bitcoin drops $3,000 to $4,000 or has a rebound of $3,000 to $4,000, you're going to have $2,000 to $4,000 ranges between the points. So the first thing is I look at these resistance points: first, second, and third level resistance. I look at the first, second, and third supports. All of these on this side, they matter. They're not going to have the same strength of support and resistance as the other stuff. So right now, Bitcoin is at 43,262. The pivot point is 42,981. That's the reason why it won't climb much higher. There's something called a pivot window, is what I call it. I don't know the technical name for it. I just like talking about it. So I call it the pivot window. It's about 1% on either side. So Bitcoin really hasn't gone very far above 43,500. The pivot window would roughly be about $400 to $500. So if you take the 10%, $430, it really hasn't broken out of that pivot. The first support, if it were to fall below that pivot, would be around 40,860. Now, if you're buying on Robinhood, always keep in mind you're going to have about a $150 to $200 spread. I promise you, if you get to where you're doing Bitcoin on here, you'll find out you don't ever want to do a market buy. But if you do a limit buy, you can put a $200 above the screen price. You can do a limit buy of 43,450, and it will probably only give you half of your order. And you have to cancel and resubmit until you finally got your order. So I've done that. It's a pain in the butt. The best way to handle Bitcoin is to always trade it with a limit that's going to be above the support. So tonight, let's say I don't think it's going to go all the way down to 36,639 tonight because as I said in an earlier video, a lot of the China situation is going to be causing this to go down drastically. There's a reason that it's only rebounding about $2,000, and it won't rebound any further. There's too much selling going on, and once China's markets open up this afternoon or evening, it's going to be chaos, and I think there's going to be a massive plunge. So So on Bitcoin, I would place my buy order somewhere between here and here. There's a lot of support further down you go because there's a lot of, from here down, the average price over the last 6 months has been around 40,000. There's a lot of history underneath 40,000. So there's a lot of history to pull from because that's been a regular trading volume over a lot of trading has happened there in the last 90 days. It was stuck between 30 and 40,000 from June till almost August. So you've got a lot of different support points here. You've got your Fibonacci levels, you've got your RSI, you've got all of your EMA lines that are going to hold this up where people set this is where their minimum buy is. Also, there's a lot of options and a lot of features available right now on the open market where bears are going to try to push it down. It's already dropped below 40 in the last 7 days. It's not rebounding. It's going to go below 40. That's a little off base though. So if I was in, I would place always somewhere between the first resistance point and the second resistance point. These items on the left or on the right side, they're important. Don't get me wrong, they are important. When it hits 40, let's say it was to hit 47,000 second resistance and it was to have a crash back. Each of these would cause some support. That might cause some support. And these might cause a little bit of support on the way back down if it was to fall that far. Also, the more of these in between that are support points, the more likely it is to turn this into a support point on the first resistance. So you want to be really, really cautious about how you trade once you get above the first resistance point, especially above the second resistance point. If it breaks through all of this from the pivot point, there's not going to be a lot between here and the third resistance. So that's what you want to make sure you're watching. Same here. If something falls below the pivot point and then hits the first support, if that doesn't hold it up, it's going to the third support. There's not enough support in between everything under the first support. If you look, day to day is pretty much always going to be resistance. There's not going to be a lot of support. There's going to be a lot of resistance going back up. So when it hits the third support, I haven't seen many times where something fell to the third support level that it did not have a 5 to 10% instant rebound. So for 36,639, if I were a trader and I had a buy order for the third support, I would do it somewhere around 37.5 because it's going to be such a flash crash from 38,000 to 36,000. And it's going to be a flash rebound. You're going to want to jump in there somewhere in the middle of it. You're never going to catch the floor. If you do, you're a whole lot better than me. I've never caught debit before on either Bitcoin or Ethereum. Same thing with Ethereum. There's a lot of Ethereum stuff. So Ethereum, USD. Please keep in mind, these are a lot of this is my opinions. I don't know for sure this is what's going to happen. Nobody does. It's cryptocurrency. Right now, Ethereum doesn't seem to be falling under 30.50, but yesterday it didn't seem to be falling under 29.50 either. So we have our third level resistance is 35.74. Our first resistance is 31.56. Notice there's a resistance point right here, 30.50. It hasn't wanted to break away from that. Pivot point's 29.50. That's the basics. If you watch these day to day, they don't move a lot. Just the names will change. The support may turn into a resistance. These are all based on EMA lines and FIB lines. That's how these are created. Today, I'm setting a buy order between the first and second support because it went here on the last fall. I'm considering doing a 50% buy-in here of first support, and the remainder of the 50% around the 2600 level. If they both hit, that would give me an average cost of around 2600. So that's just what I'm planning to do. Another critical site that I use is called FX. This is a little bit more frequent. I look for crypto daily movers and shakers. There's a guy in Britain named Bob Mason. He does this every day, and these are also very, very good estimates of where your landing points. He gives more or less a breakdown of where it was, where it's going. He explains all of it to you. He tells you 3160 will probably cap the upside. And there was no 3160 upside. If it doesn't move from 2942 pivot, we'll bring 2724 into play. Well, I'll be damned, it did that last time. Now it should stay above 2517. First major support is here. The pivot level is here. First major resistance is 3150. It's not going 3150. My opinion is the pivot points have changed because usually between 1 and 4 p.m. my time, Central Time, those pivot points do move. So my opinion, the pivot point is moved. If we look back here at our RSI, we are looking at 1 day RSI, we're in the 60s. 1 week, we are still 72.35. 1 month, we are at 71.99. If I see those take a hard dip, I'm going to set my buy orders. That's it.